Hey all, and welcome to Shadow of Space, and we're commenting on another BCB video. This one is titled, Liberals Cope and Seethe Over Fans Admitting to CNN Reporters They're Enjoying Trump UFC White House. This was uploaded June 14th. This is being recorded June 15th, and link is in the description.
They're bringing a UFC event to the White House lawn.
Yep.
They're gonna fight on the lawn. They're gonna fight on the lawn at the White House. They're gonna fight at the lawn. They're gonna fight on the lawn at the White House. No, I just want you to hear how it sounds to the rest of the world. They're gonna fight on the.
What are your thoughts on the UFC having a fight here at the White House?
I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. It's just not appropriate for White House lawn.
I think it's great that they're bringing it here. I think it's going to be an awesome event and spectacle for sure. American pride. It's nothing more American than UFC.
I like it. It's something new. It's something very Trump. He's a fighter. Americans are fighters. I love it.
I just think it's wrong to beat other people up and to pay to be a spectator and support it. It makes me sick.
I think it's a very monumental moment. This should be a really good fight. I'm excited to see what's going to go on, who's going to win. I'm here for it.
I think the idea of it's pretty cool, but $60 million is kind of a lot of money.
You do know the UFC is funding it itself.
Okay, I did not know that, but now that I know that, I mean, if that's what they want to do with their money, then go right ahead.
We're just a couple days out of the premier sporting event here at the White House where the top fighters
Again, you literally just had that enormous building that Obama constructed. Like, I mean, just...
world will be going at it. The infrastructure is looking ready to go. It should be a good fight night. Here to make history.
Just, they're billionaires. Guys, they're all billionaires. Don't act surprised. Like, come on.
Baby, you know what it is. My man, he got the Fugazi belt, but it's okay.
Thousands of people braving the 90-degree heat here on the Ellipse for FanFest 250. This is a prelude to the UFC fights on Sunday night. Fun fan events ahead of the UFC events. One concern, though, is with the weather. There's a line of thunderstorms that's supposed to come through D.C. Jim Power came all the way here from Austin, Texas. Jim, are you worried about the weather?
A little bit. We're kind of hoping for rain because Dana said they're going to fight rain or shine.
I'm sick and tired of hearing about the weather now and all the other bull surrounding this event. We are fighting on Sunday night on the White House lawn. No matter what.
Some people who are saying it's not right to do
I
a
guess.
cage fight at the White House.
I mean, I just think they've never watched UFC before. It's the greatest sport easily, and I think that to have something like this on one weekend, it's amazing, and it definitely celebrates the 250th birthday of our country. It's great, and I'm stoked.
I say, you know, it's the right to bear arms, and, you know, you got two of them, might as well use them, right?
Bearing isn't really required. Kind of just hang there, you know?
Lots of folks noticing, paying
Bearing
attention
them
to,
is different.
wincing, celebrating the claw on the White House lawn for the big UFC bout Sunday, Flag Day. It also is not coincidentally President Trump's birthday. He is turning 80.
Boy. So,
Awesome.
we got to talk about more liberal backlash over the UFC event that is happening
Thanks for the
tonight
info.
on the White House lawn. Okay, this is historic. It is not unprecedented, despite what liberals in the mainstream liberal media want you to believe about this event. But yeah, there's a UFC fight on the White House lawn in order to celebrate the 250th birthday of this country. Okay, I personally don't have a problem with it. I'll probably be watching the fight, okay, because it is a historic event. And why not celebrate this country, right? Why be one of these people, right, like these liberals out here who are always boo-hoo, whining, crying, and mad about something, okay? For once in your life, you can take the time to be happy and to be blessed that you live in such a great country. And the thing that I like about Trump and what he's trying to do this summer is he's trying to make it enjoyable to celebrate America, right? He's trying to get people to
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? You're more than welcome to, but at least half the country hates this country and doesn't really want to celebrate it. They want to change it into something else because they hate it.
celebrate this country for what it is And for whatever reason, liberals just don't want to do that, right? They want to hate, okay? They want to raid on our parade. Like, they quite literally want it to rain at this event. Okay, but I don't think that's going to happen, okay? It looks beautiful.
With John Adams being the first president there in 1800, but it's also about the new structure on the D.C. skyline. That would be the claw, and underneath, inside the octagon.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. You had some surreal imagery, okay, from the fans.
Yeah, see, and this was the real reason that he redid the pool.
Wow. Again, this is what I'm talking about. The reflecting pool looks amazing. You got this rainbow. You have the lightning in the background, right?
You do have
it's
the
lightning,
lightning
but
in
it's
the
not
background.
raining, right? It's not enough to actually ruin the event or to stop the event.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So there were some shenanigans at the pre-fight event that liberals are currently raging over. And I want to go ahead and play some clips here of fans who are actually there to enjoy the fight, to enjoy the event, to enjoy the celebration. They seem happy, right? While at the same time, liberals are fuming on television and on the internet, sitting at home, not enjoying America, hating America. They're fuming while the fans who are there are actually enjoying it.
The folks who've made their way to D.C. for the event.
Well, Erica, they're really excited to be here. And here on Constitution Avenue, thousands of people have been streaming down Constitution Avenue for the last couple of hours just to get in line for the security checkpoint behind me. They have not started to allow people into the venue yet, into the Ellipse, for the Fan Fest.
I'm just happy that nothing happened and they had the event and everything went smoothly. And
event. They're about to do that in the next few minutes. It starts at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. But look, you can see people just lining up at the checkpoint there. This is the main security checkpoint to get in. I'm going to kind of circle around our photojournalist, Joe Wagner. He's going to show you over here to our left, that light, that stanchion there with the screen, that's going to be one of the screens where people are going to be able to view the UFC fights tomorrow on the Ellipse. The people who have tickets, these are free tickets, but you had to get them in advance, and then you can view it on that screen tomorrow. All of this cost about $60 million to construct, including that screen, the big claw, the so-called claw, which is the huge lighting stanchion above the octagon. That was also needed to be constructed. The octagon is the big, 8-sided stadium, temporary stadium for those fights. I'm going to talk to two UFC fans who made the journey from St. Louis here. Alexis Crutcher. Alexis, this is your second time at a UFC event. How does it feel to be here for this one?
It feels good. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Derek Lewis fight. I hope he wins. I hope he gets a knockout on Hook Kick.
And Logan Marshall, this is your first time. How does it feel being here at the White House for your first time?
It's been insane. The atmosphere, the people, I mean, USA's here. And Hoke is going to get the knockout, baby.
Right. What do you feel about the security? Now, obviously, the security here is really tight. You guys have been herded all over these streets just to get into this checkpoint. Does that make it any less of an event?
It definitely makes it less of a worry. My parents were really nervous about me coming, but the security definitely makes it better.
What do you think about the security?
Yeah,
I felt very comfortable. Every street, there's been security, military police, National Guard, everybody's here. I feel very safe here.
This has been kind of a controversial event. There are some people who don't think it's appropriate to have a UFC fight on the grounds of the White House. Some people think it's great. What do you think?
I mean, I get that. It's definitely like that, but it's also a historical event, so, I mean, I'm here.
All right. Logan, what do you think about the controversy?
I think it's part of history. I mean, the fighters walking down on the Lincoln Memorial was part of history. I mean, we'll never see that again probably, and it was insane to see.
I'll see, but if they keep it up and they have more of them, then you will potentially. Guess it really depends on what they do with it. There you go.
And see how much the love they are giving to Alex on everything right here, the walkout, the setup. So it's a once in a lifetime thing, and we're gonna make the best of this opportunity.
Like you love him.
It was just wow. Nothing else to say. Wow. I don't even know if you can visualize this kind of things in your mind. But now it's a reality. Amazing job.
Amazing. Very cool. Look at this. Look where we're at. Look at this beautiful view. You want to act like a fucking animal? Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Sorry, I was like an emotional little animal, like a female. Enjoy it. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, it's so pretty. It looks so good on you. Yeah, it does. So good. It does. I think you are fighting for this, right? So good. Okay. No, this is not the belt we're fighting for. It's mine, boy. Look, looks much better on me. Not the belt we're fighting for. Looks much better on me.
Meanwhile,
this has got corporate sponsors all over it. In other words,
Oh
when
my
they do the sweep of
God.
this, and I saw the video, you see all these corporations that poured money in. We know the corporations
Stop.
and people that sponsored the ballroom that he
Stop.
had got more than $50 billion worth of contracts. This is more of his pay-to-play, of his grift and graft, of him doing these
$50 billion of contracts
$50 billion
from his contributors on
from
the
those
ballroom.
contributors. A small investment gets me pay-to-play. So this whole thing fits into crass, corrupt, and frankly, cruel. It's crass because of the reasons you said. It's corrupt because we know this is play. And the cruelty of it is, while he's raising billions of dollars for his arch for project, for the UFC, for the ballroom, all of these things.
This is how this works. I don't know how to tell you. I own some sort of food vendor. I get in contact with them. I say, hey, is there any way that I can set up some sort of place somewhere that I can sell food? They say, sure. We negotiate how that works, whether there's some sort of exchange of funds, and then I go do it. Oh no, it's pay to play. Like, stop.
Which all he wants to talk about is in his press conferences are these types of things. It's cruel because the people of this country, most of the people of this country are suffering, not being able to afford their health care, not being able to afford groceries, rent, and more. We're in an economic...
You are literally just political pawns for these people. You realize that, right? You being homeless is just a rationale for them to be able to just take every single institution that they don't like and just say that it's the most horrendous thing ever invented ever, and they personally need to do everything in their power to destroy it.
crisis, and he's playing the Great Gatsby with his big spectacles on the White House lawn.
This is what Donald Trump is doing in front of the White House right now, and yes, this is a real video.
That Trump isn't doing that. Those are other people. I don't even know where Trump is in all this, I'm gonna be honest.
Remember when Donald Trump said he was going to bring respect and normalcy back to the White House? Yeah, well, now there's people jumping motorbikes over the front lawn. There's a UFC octagon and claw on the south lawn. And there's a ballroom being built in the now destroyed area of the East Wing.
Yeah.
Great.
And Bud Light bent the knee. They backed away from Dylan Mulvaney. They apologized.
You know, no one commented on it. None of the people that they talked to really seemed to care. I said that that was going to be a point of concern, but he didn't seem to say anything about it. So what?
And now you make up your mind what you want to do. Now that same Bud Light is plastered all over that octagon on the White House lawn, celebrating the birthday.
Yeah, you're gonna boycott Bud Light now? Don Lemon, is that the plan?
Liable for essentially raping a woman, according to the judge.
Wow.
Organized by a man who was caught on camera hitting his wife. Featuring pardoned January 6th insurrectionists in the crowd on federal land that Congress never authorized. for this purpose. Streaming exclusively on a platform owned by a man waiting for Trump's approval to buy the company that owns CNN.
I don't know if you've taken a peek at the White House lawn lately, but I think it's worth noting that this weekend we're gonna watch a bunch of dudes give each other fucking brain damage with our taxpayer dollars on the White House lawn, sponsored by Bud Light. A UFC fight on the White House lawn, and I think that's ridiculous for two reasons. The first one being, I remember when the president of Ukraine showed up to the Oval Office without a suit on to negotiate. He was like, I need help. And they were like, he's not wearing a suit. He's disrespecting the sanctity of the office. You know, Americans care about how special this place is. How could you show up here without a suit? Anyways, we're going to use your taxpayer dollars. We're going to build a giant UFC ring, and we're going to watch dudes give each other brain damage. Sanctity of the office or something. The second reason it's ridiculous is that it's the highest level of inflation in like 3.5 years. The labor market sucks. Everything's imploding. There's a huge war in Iran, and we're taxpayer dollars UFC fight. No, for sure. This is sick. Hell yeah.
Why does this UFC fight at the White House feel just so trashy to me? Does anyone else feel that way? Like, I guess I've always associated WWE and UFC and, you know, any fighting in a ring with kind of like fans that tend to be trailer trash. And I'm sorry, that's a terrible thing to say. But that's just kind of what's wired in my brain. And I don't know if that's something that's unique to Americans or...
It's a sport? Would you say that same thing about, like, martial arts? Or, like...
people outside of the country...
Other cultures have forms of physical combat as sport. Like, I don't...
associate those sporting events with those types of people as well. I don't know. I'm kind of curious, actually, if that's the case. But regardless, it feels uncouth. It feels uncivilized. And ultimately, I realized that all sporting events are truly bread and circuses. But this is like the most...
That's all sports.
Closely related to ancient Rome that we have.
Oh my god.
And maybe that's why I tend to associate with that. It's like we are watching people fight.
Dude, what do you think the Olympics are? Just
as they did in the Colosseum. And we know why people went to watch those things. And what do we think of those people that used to go and watch
you just
people
don't
fight
even listen to it anymore.
At the Colosseum? Were they incredibly intellectual people? I don't think so. I think they were just incredibly distracted people.
How did America become such a joke? You literally have two thugs cursing each other out and shoving each other on the National Mall in front of the Lincoln Memorial, all to promote a $60 million MMA fight on the White House lawn to celebrate our 250th birthday. I didn't vote for this, did you?
I just want to make sure we all recognize that this UFC fight on the White House lawn is just about the most embarrassing YT trash thing that could be happening, right? Like, we all see it. Plus, it also costs however many millions of dollars to do. Meanwhile, people can't afford food or gas or
Would
groceries.
you say the same about boxing? I guess I don't know a lot about the UFC, but there have been pretty famous African-American black fighters, not necessarily wrestlers exactly. I don't think I get this.
Or rent, or buy houses, or school. But let's put on this UFC fight. I mean, it's fitting, given the guy that inhabits the White House right now, and how classless, to be nice, this man is. But, hey, it's America, baby.
This is the foolishness this clown has done. You used to be able to see the White House lit up at night. Now all you see is a ridiculous UFC ring, all lit up, costing thousands of dollars in electricity. This is the insanity of this country right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, so you seeing that, you heard that. Liberals are pretending as if
The
this
music
is
was
unprecedented when it's not, right? In fact,
I don't know how
we've
late
had
it went.
presidents host sporting events at the White House before, like, for example, Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, probably one of my favorite presidents. And the UFC actually released an AI promo for the White House event featuring Teddy Roosevelt.
But the landmark event we're witnessing tonight is not entirely without precedent. At the dawn of the 20th century, America's commander-in-chief, Theodore Roosevelt, brought fight sports to the White House. He often invited boxers, wrestlers, and martial artists, but not for entertainment or exhibition.
Very
they were summoned
AI-generated.
here to spar with the president.
Which is so based. This is why I love Teddy Roosevelt, bro. I love Teddy Roosevelt. I think he's one of the most base presidents that we've ever had. The man was shot. He was shot while trying to give a speech and kept going, right? Kept going. And ultimately, he ended up living with that bullet for the rest of his life. But, yeah, he was hosting boxing matches at the White House, not as a spectator event, but so
having him up and walking around, but whatever.
And he would scrap with anybody. Anybody that was willing to fight, he'd be willing to fight, right? To train. Yeah, incredible president, to be honest with you.
Roosevelt said, "A nation that cannot fight is not worth its salt." So he trained like a fighter throughout his presidency, leading by example, living what he called the strenuous life. Not everyone likes the idea of fights at the White House. But as Teddy Roosevelt famously said, it is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, this is not entirely unprecedented, right? I think that fighting at the Capitol, even if it's on the White House lawn, is very American, okay? Considering how Andrew Jackson beat the shit out of somebody, a would-be assassin, at the Capitol, right, as president. So, you know, we have some historical precedents for all of this, right? What is happening with the UFC fight. All I'm saying is that the same people who were celebrating trans boobies on the White House lawn, I don't want to hear from those people, right? Again, if I had to make a choice between trans boobies and UFC, I'm going UFC 100% of the time, right? If we're going to be using our White House lawn for these types of events, for entertainment purposes like this, I would much rather it be a UFC fight than a pride parade, right? So don't sit here and try to lecture me about desecrating the White House lawn and this is not aligned with American tradition, and this is a grift. And it's like, no. Again, Democrats were having pride parades. Okay, these are the same people who have no problem using the government resources to host drag shows, right? That's what they do, right? They want us to have a drag show. If this is a drag show, if this is an LGBTQ event, all these liberals will be celebrating it, right? They'd be like, oh, this is great, this is amazing, right? But because it's a UFC fight, because it's Dana White, because it's people that support Trump, right? Because it's a masculine event, they hate it. They're boohoo, whine, and cry. So I'm hoping that the event is successful. I'm pretty sure it'll be great. It'll be a great time. I'll probably be watching some of it.
I mean, you saw the amount of people that were there.
Because it is a historical
I doubt that's
event,
going to be
and
an issue.
I personally like what the president's trying to do for the 250th birthday of this country. He's trying to make celebrating this country enjoyable, okay, and safe, right? Most importantly, safe in the Capitol, and that's something that should be applauded, right? But if we didn't live in such a polarized society, such a Trump deranged country, you know, people would be celebrating this, right? I don't think this is anything to be mad about. I think that people should put aside their Trump derangement and their politics and say, hey, you know, it is the 250th birthday of this country. Let's just be happy and celebrate. But you can't do that, right? As a liberal, okay? And I think a prerequisite to being a liberal in 2026 is being unhappy about everything, right? And boohoo, whine, and cry about everything and not enjoying life. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like.
Every single argument that they made for why this shouldn't be happening is every single argument that they made against Elon Musk and his $1 trillion net worth. Just oh, people are poor and homeless. They've been poor and homeless. They've been poor and homeless since before capitalism was even devised. I don't understand the argument. People have always been poor and homeless. There have always been poor and homeless people. I just... To his point, you have Drag Story Hour, you have all of Pride Month, you have just like, I don't get it. Are they are they perpetual just, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think I care. I don't. Again, you either throw it into homelessness in California, where homelessness is going to increase, or you throw it into this. At least throwing it into this, it isn't going to do anything with homelessness, so presumably it should stay exactly where it is. Instead of throwing money at it, which just seemed to make the problem worse, as opposed to better. I don't know. I hope the people that were there had a good time, and I guess the real question now that they've had it is, are they going to take it down or are they going to leave it up? I don't know.